Well, Marsden Road Public School in southwestern Sydney is using good old-fashioned discipline, the stuff we called for yesterday on the show, to become the blueprint for Australia's new behaviour curriculum.
It's all thanks to Principal Manisha Gazula, who believes in the importance of good manners, don't we all? She joins us now live from Liverpool. Manisha, good to see you. It's being dubbed the Marsden Way. So, what are these rules? Tell us.
Yes, good morning, Carl. Good morning, Sarah. Thank you for having me on your program. I think the Marsden Way is more than just good rules, and it has boiled down to that children are walking in two lines. But let me assure you, it is not just that. Basically, the Marsden Way encompasses 4 pillars. The first one is a core program, which is how we teach at our school. The syllabus has been interpreted and the teachers follow it across K to 6, which means our kindergarten teacher know exactly what is happening in year 6. So that's our first pillar. Our second pillar is our teaching, professional learning for our teachers, in the sense we have a systematic way of how we teach, and therefore we want our teachers to know how to teach that. And we have a way, just as we have a progression for our students, we have progression in learning for our teachers as well, and that's the second pillar. The third one is our systems and structures, such as our assessment structure, our book collection structure, lesson observations, to help our teachers in their learning. And then finally, our fourth pillar is our civics and citizenship program, which generally people say is the Marsden Way, but it's really is the other 3 as well, which is where we explicitly teach students rules, expectations, routines, and systems. And this is why we call it this. It's a behavior curriculum, but basically it is explicitly teaching these things so they can be successfully transitioning from home to school and from primary school to high school and beyond.
It sounds, all well and good. You must have times, though, when you have kids who don't want to be disciplined at school and parents who don't want their kids disciplined in certain ways. How do you navigate through, and how do the kids respond?
The very first thing I tell parents is that the school doesn't discipline your child, the parents do. Discipline stems from home. What we do is we teach them good manners and respect. And I don't think and I think there's this, people are visualizing this where it is like almost military-like, where we are rough on our kids and we're telling them to walk in 2 lines and march in 2 lines and salute to the principal. It's nothing like that. It's pretty much teaching children, how do we address an adult? How do you talk? How do you enter the classroom? How do you transition from one learning space to another? And when you teach this as lessons, when the children are 5, they don't see it as disciplining. It is something that is ingrained in them right from the time they enter the school. So it's nothing different to you when you start driving and when you learn the roads rules, and you don't think about it as someone imposing something on you. It's just something you do to be safe.
Well, this is the thing, Manisha, hearing you speak about it, it just sounds like common sense, right? It doesn't necessarily sound like a rule book that everyone needs to adhere to.
Absolutely.
But the fact that we're talking about it highlights that it is actually unusual. Why isn't this in place in more schools?
I think it's unusual because maybe people don't teach it explicitly as we do. We actually have lessons planned for it. So for the first 2 weeks of school, every school year, for the first 2 weeks while we're assessing their reading and their writing to see where kids have lost or gained in the last 6 weeks of school holidays, the first 2 weeks we actually teach children how to walk in 2 lines, how to greet teachers, how to transition from one learning space to another, how to rule a book. There should be no graffiti in your books. How do you address an adult as you walk into a classroom? I think because we do it so explicitly, maybe that's what defines us and makes us look different. And as I said, when you teach them when they're 5, by the time they are in year 7, in year 6, and they're 12 years old, it is second nature to them. And that is what makes it different to perhaps, some other schools that may think that we are very military in our ways or very strict in our ways.
How have the results gone?
And as I said to everyone, nothing is good enough if the students don't improve their outcomes. And when I talk about outcomes, I just don't talk about academic outcomes. I'm talking about students wanting to come to school, students being engaged in their learning, and all this is defined by, as for some school that is supposed to be strict, I have probably one of the lowest suspension rates in the state. My student attendance is 20 points above state. And wow. In terms of learning, I remember in 2016 when we came, we had something like 3% of our students in the proficiency, but now we have 50% of our students writing a proficiency, and I'm talking about proficiency, not basic skills. So we are improving academically and in terms of our behaviour and in terms of attendance.
There you
Pretty
go.
good measure. How are your enrolments looking, by the way? Do you have room for a big kid named Carl Stefanovic?
Absolutely. Anyone and everyone is welcome to Marsden Road. We can teach you the Marsden way.
Look, I had trouble with year
Excellent,
7. I did it 3
excellent.
times. So I'm happy to go back for a 4th. Hey,
Thanks,
great.
Anisha,
Well done.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Excellent work.
Leading the way, a trailblazer.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and
What's my name again?
oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
that never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?